wherever you are right now. Let that place soften a little. You don't need to hold yourself so carefully. There is nothing to do here, nothing to figure out. This is simply a space for you to rest inside of. A room built entirely from warmth, from color, from candlelight, and the smell of something ancient and wooden and alive. Take one slow breath in and let it out without rushing. We are going somewhere together, a room that exists only in sound and image and feeling, a room the color of dark wine held up to a flame. Just let yourself arrive. The first thing you notice is the color. Not a wall, exactly. More like a presence. The deep burgundy wraps around you the way velvet wraps around something precious. It is not flat. It breathes. The surface of the plaster holds small variations, a slightly deeper shadow here, a warmer blush there, as if the wall itself has been listening to the room for years and has slowly taken on its mood. The light in this room does not come from above. It comes from below, from the floor, almost. 3 glass lanterns sit on the worn oak planks near the foot of the bed, their candles burning low and without urgency. The flame inside each one is never completely still. It shifts, it leans, it recovers, and with every small movement, the shadows on the burgundy wall shift too, so that the room feels like something gently breathing. There is a quality to candlelight that electric light cannot imitate. It is not just warmth, it is incompleteness. Candlelight does not reveal everything. It chooses, and what it leaves in shadow becomes as beautiful as what it illuminates. In this room, the shadows are generous. Above the bed, hung on the wall as though it grew there, is a wreath, large, abundant, made entirely of small red berries clustered so densely that from across the room it reads almost as a solid ring of dark crimson. Up close, you would see the individual stems, the way some berries have gone deep and nearly black, the way others catch the candlelight and hold a single point of garnet fire. It is a winter thing, this wreath, a forest thing. It belongs above a bed, the way silence belongs inside a cathedral. From the high ceiling, 3 lanterns descend on chains. They are not the same. One is taller, one is broader, one is more intricate, and they hang at slightly different heights, as though placed by instinct rather than measurement. The metalwork is Moroccan in feeling. Panels of filigreed bronze and silver cut through with geometric patterns so fine they seem embroidered rather than forged. When the light passes through those patterns, it falls on the walls in constellations, small, shifting diamonds and stars that travel slowly across the burgundy plaster as the lanterns sway almost imperceptibly. In some current, is rough in places. You can see where it was once something else, something structural, something that held weight in a different life. The grain runs in long dark lines through a surface the color of aged honey. It does not shine, it simply is. The headboard is wide and low, almost the full width of the bed, and behind it the nightstand extends from the same wood seamlessly, so that the whole structure reads as a single thing, rooted to the floor like something that was not assembled but uncovered. On the bed itself there are layers. Begin with the duvet beneath everything. A floral tapestry in dusty rose and faded terracotta, its pattern large and botanical, dark leaves unfurling, flowers the color of dried petals, tendrils that spiral and curl in the old European manner. It is the kind of pattern that rewards close attention. Each flower is slightly different. Each leaf holds a different shadow. Over that, a flat coverlet in linen, pale gray-brown, the color of early morning before the light has chosen its direction. It lies flat across the lower half of the bed with the quiet authority of something that has been smoothed by hand many times. And then the throw. A heavy knit blanket in the deepest burgundy, the same shade as the wall, as though the room has dressed itself in its own color. It has been draped rather than placed. One corner has fallen toward the floor. The knit is chunky and loose tensioned, the kind of textile that holds warmth not by being thick, but by being full of air, of small trapped pockets of stillness. To pull it over yourself would feel like being held. The pillows are stacked in layers against the headboard. There are many of them. Some are upright, some have collapsed gently against their neighbors. The colors move through deep garnet, through mauve, through the kind of gray that in this light looks almost purple. One pillow, square and full, is the color of the throw. That same wine-dark burgundy, and it sits at the center of everything like a key signature, the note from which all other colors are understood. You could sink into this bed and not feel the world for a long time. To the left, there is a window. It is arched, tall and narrow, framed in raw wood that has not been painted or treated, just allowed to weather into something the color of sand and old rope. The arch is Moorish in its curve, slightly pointed at the crown, and it brings an unexpected delicacy to a room that is otherwise so much about weight and warmth. The light that enters through it is not strong. It comes from the side, from a sky that is probably the white of winter, and it falls across the floor in a long pale bar that fades before it reaches the foot of the bed. It does not compete with the candlelight. The two kinds of light coexist as they would in a painting, each occupying its own part of the room, each necessary to the other. On the wide wooden sill and the low bench beneath the window, there vessels, glass bottles, cloudy with age, ceramic jars in slate and ash, a wide-mouthed vase of hammered pewter holding branches, bare branches, almost entirely without leaves, but covered instead in small red berries that are just slightly darker than the throw on the bed. The branches are not arranged. They have been placed with the ease of someone who trusts that beauty will take care of itself. Between the vessels, more candles, some enclosed in glass, some standing free. None of them are new. Their wax has melted and reformed and melted again, and the pooling at their bases has a quality of geological patience, as though they have been burning since before you arrived, and will continue after you leave. High on the wall, beside the window, more branches. These not in a vase, but simply leaning, or perhaps affixed somehow, so that they reach out across the top of the arched frame. From them hang clusters of the same dark red berries, and a few remaining leaves turned to copper and rust. They look as though the outside world pushed its way gently in through the window and chose to stay. The oak floorboards run the full length of the room. They are wide, the kind of boards that are rarely made now, and they are pale from years of foot traffic and light, warm near the candles, cool near the window. They creak in this room. You know this without hearing it. A room this old always speaks a little when you move through it. Close your eyes for a moment. Inside this story, inside this room, and consider what else is here. There is a smell, not perfume, something older and less deliberate. Beeswax from the candles, which is slightly sweet, slightly animal, the smell of something biological transformed by fire. Under that, wood, the timber of the bed frame, the floor, the window. Old wood has a smell that is almost edible, dark and dry and full of history, like the inside of a library that has never been renovated. And underneath that, faintly, the cold air that has come in at the edges of the window glass, carrying the smell of berries and bare bark, and a particular neutrality of winter outside. The silence in this room is not empty. It is full. There is the small sound of flame, that near inaudible flutter, like a breath held and released. There is the occasional creak of the building around you, settling into the night the way all old structures do, making small adjustments, redistributing their weight. There is, very distantly, the sound of wind, not inside but outside, moving through whatever is beyond this window. It does not enter, it simply confirms that outside exists and that you are not in it. The Moroccan lanterns overhead have begun their slow rotation. course of minutes. To watch them is to understand time differently, not as something that passes, but as something that gathers. The throw on the bed, that deep burgundy knit, catches the candlelight differently than the smooth linens beneath it. Its texture creates a landscape of small peaks and valleys, each peak holding a little more warmth than the shadows between the stitches. To run your hand across it would be to feel the room itself. Every texture in here has weight. Every surface has been chosen for how it feels as much as how it looks. This is a room made for the body, not just the eye. The light through the window has changed. The pale bar across the floor has narrowed, tilted, and is slowly disappearing. The sky outside has moved from white to the pale blue-gray of late afternoon, and the window now holds that color, cold and clear and quietly beautiful behind the warm amber of the room. The candles have grown more prominent. In the earlier light, they were accents. Now they are primary. The 3 lanterns on the floor at the foot of the bed throw long shadows back toward the headboard and the pillows. All those layered textures of garnet and mauve and burgundy are transformed in this light into something almost geological. The creases in the linen duvet look like contours on a map. The folds of the throw look like the slopes of something slow and ancient. Above the bed, the berry wreath holds its darkness. In the candlelight, it has become a deeper presence, less botanical object, more shadow crown, more architecture. The wall behind it is the color of a very old wine, and the wreath sits against it like a seal, like a mark that says, "This is a place of rest." The vessels on the windowsill have become silhouettes. The glass bottles are dark. Only the candles on the sill still hold warmth and definition. Their flames smaller now as the evening cools, but steadier. Flame in cold air finds its balance more easily. It has less competition. On the nightstand, to the right side of the bed, there is a small collection of things. 2 or 3 ceramic vessels in gray and dark brown. No sharp edges, everything rounded, worn. A candle in a glass hurricane shade, its flame protected and therefore unwavering. A few small stones perhaps, or a dried flower. Nothing placed with intention, only with instinct. A nightstand in a room like this should feel like an accumulation, not an arrangement. The bed is waking. It has been waiting all day, all evening, patient and full of textile and warmth. The duvet is not perfectly straight. It has been lived in, sat on, smoothed out. The throw has slipped a little to one side. The pillows have started in their slow way to lean toward each other. The room has been holding your place. The window now holds only the faintest residue of day still holds a faint warmth, more memory of daylight than daylight itself. The bare branches outside are visible as thin dark lines against it, perfectly still. Inside, everything is candlelight now. The room has contracted, not in size. In feeling, the corners have softened into shadow. The ceiling is invisible. There is only the circle of warmth around the bed, the lanterns overhead still casting their slow constellations, the floor lanterns sending their gold light upward against the burgundy wall. The smell of beeswax is stronger now. 2 of the smaller candles have burned down close to their holders and are beginning to flicker with a slightly different rhythm. Lower and more deliberate, the way breath changes when someone has almost fallen asleep. They will not last much longer. That is not something to worry about. The room does not need all of them. The knit throw has taken on a different quality in this last light. The burgundy is almost black in the shadows between the stitches, and the peaks of the knit hold the gold of flame. The texture looks like something topographical, like a landscape seen from very far above or very far inside. To be under it would be to feel its weight on your chest, its warmth working inward through the layers of the duvet below. The wreath above the headboard is nearly invisible now, only its edges catch the light. The outermost berries, a few stems, the rest has receded into the wall, into the burgundy, into the dark. It is still there. You know it is still there. Presence in darkness is not the same as absence. The Moroccan lanterns above move so slowly now that their shadow stars seem to have found their resting positions. Or perhaps they are still moving and you have become too still yourself to notice. Either is fine. The burgundy room does not ask anything of you. It has been built stone by stone, timber by timber, candle by candle, textile by textile, for exactly this, for the body to arrive and be received, for the mind to set down what it has been carrying. The color itself does the work. Deep red is not an alert color here. It is a held color, wine in a glass held against firelight, the inside of something cupped and warm. You have been in this room for a long time now. Perhaps you are already somewhere between this story and the other one. The one that begins when the eyes close and the mind begins its own kind of wandering. That place is good. Let it take you. The candles will continue without you. The wreath will remain where it is. The shadows will keep their slow conversation with the walls. The throw is heavy. The pillow has the give of something familiar.